8 Middle Eastern fragrances. Some are new to me, and one of them is actually one of our very own, one of our own creators, brand new fragrance. Hello, my gorgeous ones. Welcome to Alicia Budget Beauty. My name is Alicia. Here on my channel, I love all things affordable fashion, beauty, and fragrance. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews of Middle Eastern fragrances, which are very affordable, and also one very special niche Middle Eastern fragrance owned by a YouTuber, which is very exciting. All sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. Okay guys, before I get into the fragrances here, I just want to do a little kind of check-in about where I'm filming. I just recently posted a video that was in my normal space, and that is my preferred space. If you guys are newer here and you've seen me just in this filming area, this is not my typical space. I lost my space back in May due to a very bad tornadic storm. And I had one video still kind of in the vault that I filmed before that happened. That was the Boss Babe fragrances, the fragrances that give me confidence. That video was actually filmed back in April. So if you're like, wait, why is she in such better lighting here? This background's so much better, and she went back to this. We still don't have it fixed yet. They are hopefully starting next week. I also want to say then, I don't know what's going to happen with my filming. Once they start on repairs, I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how noisy it will be. We're also getting a new roof. We are also getting new flooring because some of our flooring was damaged in the storm as well. So you guys, I may be filming out of my car. I'm not even kidding. It's either that or I don't do videos. So just know that if you see me in random places, that is why. And one day soon, I will be back in my normal spot and all will be well again. I'll probably still film in here sometimes because it is kind of comfy to sit down and film. So, all right, you guys, let's get into the fragrances, which is why I know that you are here. I really want to start with the one that I was teasing is a creator-owned fragrance. So this is Macedon Perfumes. The creator behind this is Cecilia. I think she goes by CC, and then she's C Chronicles here on YouTube, also on socials. This is her new fragrance, Proud Mary. This is a limited edition. There are only a certain amount. I'm not sure how many, I don't want to misquote, that have been produced. This is a Middle Eastern produced fragrance. Now, it is not like a white label fragrance, meaning this is not a fragrance that was already produced and then she just put her name on it. She did help in craft this fragrance herself. This is unique to the brand. And she's just a lover of Middle Eastern fragrances. She loves the quality of them, the way that they project, all of that. So that's why she went with that perfume, the perfumer that is a Middle Eastern perfumer. And this is an extrait. It is 120 ml. And right now, I think it is still on sale, discounted for a pre-order. It will go up after that, I believe, to around, it's either 140, 150. I think it's about 125 right now. And I have to say, it is worth every single penny. Now, you guys know, I tell it like it is. I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. I was nervous. I was reached out to by a sweet subscriber and viewer who helped in, I believe, the launching this brand. And she was like, you know, would you like to receive it and review it? And I, knowing it was another fellow creator, I went and followed her. I was not familiar with her in the beginning. She's beautiful. She's lovely. She's done a great job with her channel and to grow it. So I thought, yeah, I want to support another creator and them launching their fragrance brand. Like that's awesome. But I was also terrified because I didn't want to dog on this. I didn't want to tear it apart if I didn't like it. And I wasn't going to do that. You know, I think you would have known that I didn't love it for myself. But I would have found things positive to say about it and left it at that. But you guys, I love this so much. Genuinely love Proud. Did I say it was called Proud Mary? I'm sorry, I'm chatty, loquacious today. The name is Proud Mary. It is in honor of her mother, dedicated to her mother. From what I gather is that she got a lot of her love of fragrance from her mother at a very young age. You guys, this is immediately, it went to my tops of my fall fragrances of all time. It is stunning. It is so elegant. It is so cozy. It is so classy and classic fall smelling. This has these gorgeous fruits at the top. It has some dried fruits. It has pineapple. It has apple. And it is like if you were serving royalty. The most divine, gorgeous fruits, like the top of the top line, like these are the quality fruits. They've gone through this long process to dry them and to really like kind of extract the flavor and everything and to put it into the dried fruit. Like, and even though it's pineapple in here too, and you would think, oh, like summery, this is such a fall smelling bouquet of fruit here, or like your fresh picked apples and dried fruits in a basket. It is stunning. What I can compare it the most to is Swiss Arabian's Casablanca and also La Danza. I'm shortening the name on that fragrance, but La Danza by Nobel 1942. I've got it back over here actually on this tray, the Nobel 1942. That's a Italian fragrance, and that one is, you can get it at a good discount, but at regular price, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than this. And it's like those two, except it is better. It is better. I mean, definitely better than the Casablanca. Like Casablanca is a gorgeous fragrance, but I think when you smell the two of these side by side, they're not identical, but you would be like, oh, this is the expensive, like has some money type of fragrance. That's the cheapy version of this. And then the Nobel 1942 does smell expensive. It is a gorgeous Italian house. But this is just this element of this kind of cashmere woods in here that makes it very, very smooth. I would say the texture of this is almost velvety cashmere with those kind of fall fruits. There is patchouli in this, which I got a little bit nervous. I got a little nervous because, you know, it can either ruin a fragrance or it doesn't bother me whatsoever. You can't pick it out in this fragrance. I think all it's doing is making it stronger, kind of adding like a richness to the base of this. I'm blown away. I am blown away. If this is a sign of what is to come from her, and I believe that she plans on launching future fragrances, even though this is a limited edition. I don't know if it's like a trial run just to see, but if this is what she has up her sleeve, holy moly, we are in for a treat. And the bottle is nice and heavy, by the way. Here she is too on the bottle, gorgeous. Looking all like ethereal, kind of goddess-like here. I think that's fun. And then the cap is this ornate, heavy gold cap. Like I said, the bottle feels like weighty. This could be, I'm glad it's not, this could be a $200, $300 fragrance. Easily. That is the quality of this fragrance. It is how it smells. It's how it feels. It's how it projects. It's how it lasts. It is an extrait. It is strong. It is long lasting. It is at the top of my fall fragrances. I'm going to have to kind of hoard this because it is limited edition and I want it forever. That's how amazing this is. Proud Mary. I mean, 2 thumbs up, A+ in my tops. So impressed. All right, so that'll be the most expensive fragrance in this bunch here. The rest of the 7 are going to be more in that typical Middle Eastern $30 to $50 range. Okay, so we have Rasassi Hawas Pink for her. Now, I resisted this for a long time. I saw it was very, very hyped up. I get a little bit nervous these days, to be honest, of very hyped Middle Eastern fragrances, especially on TikTok. And I mean, a big part of that is there is the marketplace. I know that they're also hoping to get sales for themselves. I put stuff in my little marketplace saying like, if I get commission off of it, great. I don't always, like if you see one of my TikToks and there is a song on it, then it is not eligible. I mean, unless it's a non-commercial song, but usually if it's just me speaking and there's a fragrance, I might have it in my showcase where I could get commission off of it. But I always tell the truth. But a lot of people are they just want the commission, right? So I get a little bit nervous and I thought, oh, I don't know, this is getting too much hype. So I held off and then I broke down one day and I was like, let me just go ahead and try this. I will say, I mean, fun bottle. Like it's a unique kind of corally pink color. I like the cap here. There's like a little snake wrapped around, ropey looking. There's like a little tail. I don't think there's a head. You just see it is like a snake, not just a rope. Of the white cap, it's heavy-ish, the cap. When I first got this, I thought, those mother fathers, like they lied. They lied. I was like, this is not that good. And I thought, oh, like I don't even know if I like it. Cotton candy wear, all of that. I actually do like this fragrance now. It grew on me actually very, very quickly. It was just that it didn't match the expectations that I had of it, of what people were saying that it smelled like. So what I kept hearing, and people wanted to reiterate over and over again, is there's cotton candy. There's a cotton candy note. I think that's like it's almost like a buzzword when you say cotton candy these days. Like people get really excited. So yes, there is a cotton candy note in this, but that's the last thing I would probably say that this smells like. And the other thing that was kind of odd to my nose at first is there is this sort of like gourmand fall elements at the top, like cinnamon and nutmeg. And so you think it's going to go completely in that direction, but then you have some white florals in the mid, like tuberose, you have some orange flower in here. And then it's kind of like, wait, what? Because those are typically more kind of springy, even summery florals. You can have them in a wintry fragrance, but not usually with gourmand elements, I wouldn't say. So I thought this is kind of like an odd bag because you've got this fall spice coziness at the top, but then you've got like tuberose that comes in that's kind of jarring. And then the cotton candy in here that's in the base. The way I can best describe this, I already said this on a TikTok, is whenever you get the Kool-Aid packets, it is the flavor, it's not the full realized flavor with the sweetness. So like if you get a cherry packet, a blue raspberry, an orange flavor Kool-Aid, it's kind of bitter or like an idea of what it's going to taste like later after you add the sugar. If cotton candy is in this, it is like a hint of the scent of it without the sweetness. There is some sweetness going on in this fragrance, but it's not coming from cotton candy. I think it's coming from the orange blossom and even a little bit of like a sweet tuberose. This does not smell like confection-y, carnival cotton candy at all. So anyone that's saying that, you're going to be really misled. And if you're expecting that, you're going to be disappointed. The other thing I've seen people say that this smells like is Angel Share. And in my TikTok, I mean, I was trying to make the review as short as I could because I always go a little bit too long, as you guys can see here. And I said, like, this does not smell anything like Angel Share. They're lying to you, like, stop it. I can see where if they're just not explaining it very well, if they said, imagine Angel Share, really, 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 really watered down, and then throw in some like tuberose in it and sort of like an exotic Middle Eastern flair to it. Okay. But them just saying, oh, it smells like Angel Share. No, it doesn't. But I can see a little bit of what they're talking about, really just because of the opening of like the nutmeg and the cinnamon. Like you think it's going to go in that direction, but it doesn't fully. So if you think this is a dupe of that, that's also not true. I do really like this though. Even though I didn't think that I did as much at first, I also think it's getting better in the opening spray. My very first initial opening spray was like, there was sort of like a cheap musk smell to it, I thought as well. I thought it smelled a little sharp. I thought it smelled kind of watered down and strange. And now it's not really doing that. So I think it's already kind of opened up some. It's already like maturing a little bit. And I do quite enjoy it. What I think this ultimately is a fall gourmand floral and a really kind of odd one. So if that sounds good to you, then I do actually really recommend it. If you are thinking this is going to smell like this super, super gourmand cotton candy, and that's what you want, you will be disappointed. But ultimately, I really do like Hawas Pink. It was just a journey to get there. All right, moving on. We are moving on to Khadlaj. This is Peach Velvet. This one was sent to me, that last one I purchased myself. This was sent to me by Beauty House. We have another Peaches Revenge here. So we had Delulu by Paris Corner. I know that one was kind of like people who either like that or really didn't enjoy that fragrance. And I can understand why. It is kind of an unusual niche smelling peach fragrance. So is Peaches Revenge. And I didn't think that the Delulu was quite as good as Peaches Revenge. I didn't think that the disparity of the price was enough to not recommend Delulu. But if you're going to get any inspired by of Peaches Revenge, it's got to be Peach Velvet. They did it better than Paris Corner. Definitely. Khadlaj did it better. What makes it different is you can smell, you can almost smell the fuzz on the peach, like a velvety fuzz in here. The peach is more realistic. It is honestly a pretty photorealistic, ripe peach, not an unripened peach, but like a ripe peach, probably on the verge almost of going bad, like that ripe. And then it goes to another place with that vanilla in here. There's a little touch of that cinnamon. I think they've upped the ante with more of the vanilla, more of the caramel than the Delulu. It smells richer. It smells a little denser. It definitely smells like a fall peach fragrance to me. It's a little heavy, but I think it's really, really gorgeous and very, very, very well done. This one is by far a better one, a better alternative, in my opinion. And I would actually recommend it over Peaches Revenge. So I'm putting my big stamp of approval on this. Though, if you are thinking this really fresh peach that's light and crisp or something, this might be too much for you. You have to want some of that dense caramel, vanilla, and the guava as well. So yes, I do want to point that out because I know guava can be like a touchy note for some people. I think it's done really well in here. I think the peach stands out more than the guava, but I can smell that guava. I think that's what throws some people off. So if you like guava and you're looking for a really rich, dense peach fragrance, a little dash of cinnamon, some vanilla and caramel, I do highly, highly, highly recommend Peach Velvet, and it projects and lasts like a queen. All right, this next fragrance is a new Middle Eastern house to me. I never tried anything from them. Rayhaan, not sure which way. This was sent by Beauty House as well. And this is supposed to be a dupe, I believe, of Louis Vuitton's Troprev. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I've never smelled that fragrance. I cannot tell you if this is a spot on dupe or not. I can only tell you if I like it and what it smells like. I was so pleasantly surprised by this. I have fallen pretty hard for this fragrance. I thought whenever I saw the notes and didn't really know at first like what it might be trying to do, when I first saw the notes of some bergamot, some lychee, ginger, peony rose, I thought, oh, are we going into Delina territory here? That's not my favorite fragrance DNA. But then I saw it had a chocolate accord in it, and then vanilla and a little bit of patchouli. So I thought, well, that doesn't really sound Delina-like. If anything, that sounds like it's almost going like a Guerlain direction. So I got this, and I kind of braced myself. I was like, oh gosh, I don't know. I get nervous when it's like a new Middle Eastern house I haven't smelled. It's like an inexpensive fragrance, and it has rose. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. It simultaneously smells unique and also sort of familiar in that it smells like a really high-end, expensive designer fragrance. It doesn't necessarily smell niche to me. It does not smell cheap. This smells expensive. This is blended so beautifully. You really do get a little bit of a journey in like in a depth way to this. So it opens with a gorgeous, bright lychee. Like the bergamot is just right in there, drawing out that lychee. The ginger is very subtle. I wouldn't call this like a spicy fragrance. It's just like a little tiny zing in with that lychee, but it's also a lychee that's not like a candy lychee, like in some of our candied lychee fragrances out there. I was like, that's exquisite. That's gorgeous. And then you really do start to get a little bit of this delicate, demure rose that doesn't smell dated. It's very, very, very soft with the peony, like just right. Like it's sort of like the lychee kind of comes and sits down on like a bed of soft florals. And then a few minutes later, you get this beautiful chocolate vanilla that's not overly gourmand. It really just smells kind of rich and elegant. And like I said, something that would be in a Guerlain fragrance. If you know that vanilla or like chocolate done in Guerlain, it's sort of like that. The patchouli is not, it doesn't overly stand out. It doesn't overtake the fragrance. It doesn't smell like trash to my nose like it can sometimes. It is just a really beautiful, expensive smelling, grown-up, sophisticated, without smelling mature, floral that is unique to my collection. And I was so pleasantly surprised. I think it is divine. I mean, the name is divine. I think it's divine. I think that the bottle is really pretty. You have this is plastic. It doesn't look cheap. Like you wouldn't necessarily know it's plastic. It kind of looks like it would be metal, but it is plastic. The cap is like a heavier plastic. And then there's the glass bottle inside. So I think it looks pretty. It presents pretty. It smells amazing. It does stick around. It lasts hours on the skin. It's a nice, lovely departure from just your typical gourmands out there, and also not a dated floral. It's pretty divine. All right, now this next one, I think I'm kind of cheating here because I could not remember if I talked about Khamrah Dukan. I've had it for quite a while, and I just couldn't. I was like, did I ever talk about this in a video? And I think I might have. Like now as I'm sitting here, I'm like, I feel like I did talk about this. So I may be repeating myself. This is not brand new, but I wore it the other day, and I wore it when we were doing what we call camping in our household. It's our form of camping. It's a tradition where we roast marshmallows, we tell spooky stories, we have things like Thriller playing, like the Halloween soundtrack song, like, you know, Halloween, all the spooky, scary skeletons, all of that. And my fragrance of choice that evening was Dukan. And then I actually layered it with sweet vanilla chai latte by ALEISHAGOMEZ. But this really overtook the combo for sure. And as I was wearing it, I thought, I need to talk about this because I don't know if I have, but I think I have. Anyway, I digress. This is my favorite. Actually, I do not have Qahwa, so I'm not sure. Qahwa with the coffee note in it, but I do have a Gulf Orchid version of that fragrance, so I'm pretty sure I know what that flanker smells like. But I prefer Dukan over just regular Khamrah, and it's really because of the pimento. That takes it over the top for me. I love the spice at the top of this fragrance. Pimento is one of my favorite notes in fragrance that is not very common. And And I like that this is a really, really nice play of unisex that kind of toes the line with some masculinity. But I think ultimately, as it dries down, it gets a little bit sweeter and it becomes just more pretty gender neutral here. But that pimento, it just, that little bit of spice, it literally felt like it kind of warmed me up by the fire. Sometimes a pepper note in a fragrance, and we're talking like a spice pepper, not like a black pepper, pink pepper, white pepper. If it is some sort of actual heat pepper note in a fragrance, it kind of like it tricks the mind and makes you feel like you're kind of toastier and warmer than you are. And I think that's so fun this time of year. If you thought this, if you have this and you didn't necessarily enjoy that pimento note for whatever reason, I would definitely challenge you to wear it in some cold weather. It wasn't even cold that night, but I think because we had like the fire going and like the sun had gone down, it had this whole atmosphere. This is one that I think is perfect in certain settings, cold settings, settings that you want to feel nice and toasty and warm and cozy. I also really love the incense in here, the labdanum, the tonka, the benzoin, the vanilla, amber, tobacco. It's kind of a moody fragrance. And honestly, that peppery note at the top, the pimento, does wear off. Once it wears off, to me, it kind of smells like Khamrah, but it's kind of getting a 2-in-1. You get that fun spice at the beginning, and then it goes into kind of just basic Khamrah. But I really, really love this one, and I wanted to talk about it because it feels very, very appropriate for October. All right, this next fragrance here, I did purchase myself. I was influenced by a lovely subscriber and friend, and we chit chat in DMs on Instagram and TikTok now. Paola, she recommended this Fig Hug to me by Paris Corner, and it is so good. I'm so glad she recommended this. I love Fig. Fig can go in different directions. It can be a very kind of woody, stemmy green fig. It can go in kind of a milky, creamy territory, or it can go into a fruity territory. This one is definitely fruity and milky, but you also have some helpful players here making it go in that direction. So at the top, this does have some bright lemon and pink pepper with that fig. And it truly smells very, very, very fruity. It almost smells like it's gonna go in like a candied territory at first, a fruity candy. But then you have this really pretty rose, whipped cream, some fig milk, I think some cedarwood, something kind of more woody in the base. I can't remember exactly what. That kind of shifts things instead of just being this kind of one note candy sugary fig. It really develops and changes on the skin, and I actually love the direction that it goes. Now, the whipped cream in here, it's not overly sweet. It really just kind of literally is what the words whipped cream. Like, it kind of takes it and like mixes the notes that you already get at the top and then smooths it out in like a cream-like form. Not a sugary whipped cream, but just whips it and smooths it. And then as it sits on the skin, it gets a little bit more lactonic with that fig milk, and it becomes very cozy. I mean, it's called Fig Hug for a reason. It really is like a fig hug. I love this one. So I think it's so unique, and this is not a dupe of father figure. I think sometimes people just see the name of something and they're like, oh, father figure. You know, that's a play on like an actual, like a father figure, like your dad, or if not your dad, like an uncle that's a father figure, and also being fig, the fruit. That's the play on word with that fleur fragrance father figure. And then this being a hug, fig hug, I think people are like, oh yeah, that's a dupe of that. No, like these are two completely different fragrances. I love them both. Absolutely love them both. But I have nothing else in my collection that smells really even close to Fig Hug. It is so unique. It is so neat. It's only one that I think is getting better over time, that I'm enjoying more and more. So I do highly recommend this. Give it some time. I think it could be, because it is so unique, it may not be something you've ever truly smelled before. Let it sit on the skin, let it kind of go through its journey, wear it a couple of times, and I think you'll fall in love with it too. So again, that is Fig Hug by Paris Corner. Okay, another recommendation from a fragrance friend, subscriber turned, I support her. She's awesome. She has an awesome collection. So this is Breeze by Lattafa. This came out last year, and I think she posted it. And I think I commented something like that it sounded really nice. And then she messaged me and kind of talked to me more about it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get that. I actually like this bottle a lot. I saw some people kind of saying they didn't like this bottle, but I think it's actually really cool. Very unique. This is it is a unique fragrance, but then it also smells like something else a little bit to me. So this is a citrus, clean, sort of like clean linens, that cyclamen flower. Anytime there's cyclamen in a fragrance, it kind of takes it to a little bit of a drier sheet area, which I actually really love. That's not a bad thing to me. And then you've got a lot of like cedar and musk in the base of this. I think some sandalwood, something like that. And you also have a little bit of incense too. I don't really get much cardamom. I think that's at the top too. I get a tiny bit of the incense. I don't think that the incense cardamom takes it to a very like spicy sort of a place or smoky place with this. It really, to me, is a citrus, clean laundry, cedar sort of a fragrance. It does remind me a little bit of Gypsy Water. I know not everyone likes that term, but G Water by Byredo. Sort of in that area, but not completely. Not completely. It's a little bit more fresh linens than that fragrance. It's very cozy. This is a really nice going to bed fragrance. Like straight out of the shower, your sheets are clean. You want to kind of just emulate the atmosphere around you in your own scent bubble with your clean sheets and like your freshly washed skin. It gives that vibe very much so. But that coziness that comes in of that musk and that cyclamen, I just really enjoy it. I think it's maybe not for everyone. If you like those type of fragrances, you do have to like some musk, because I definitely get some musk. There is jasmine in here too. I get a little bit of the heady jasmine that is sort of odd to the nose slightly. I think Lisa said that tapers off after a while, that it gets better over time even, but I already really like this and enjoy this. So if you like the idea of, we'll even say clean sheets in the fall with like a cedar element to it, cozy, clean, unique, I think that you'll really like Breeze by Lattafa. All right, and we have another influence by my friend Paola that I mentioned earlier. This is Island Dreams by Khadlaj. I mean, I'd seen this a lot and didn't really give it too much of a thought, but she loves Imagination, Louis Vuitton, which is what this is supposed to be replicating. So she was like, oh, it's so good. So I went ahead and grabbed it. I love the bottle. I think the bottle is so fun with the ombre. Having the ombre dark to light is unusual. So I think that's cool. It kind of has this perforated, like neat, it feels like cool to the touch, like some texture here on the bottle, nice and weighty, really elegant, classy. So I never smelled Imagination, or actually, I take that back. I think I do have a sample of it. I think it's just been a long time. And I love this. I love this. My only complaint is it's so short-lived. My husband also loves this. I can do spray like a million times, go about my day, and if, not 20 minutes later, it lasts longer than that. If 2 hours later I need to respray, I'm happy to do so. My husband wrote it off, even though he loved how it smelled. He was like, that does not last. And to be fair, his skin eats it up. I I smelled it myself. I smelled it on him, smelled so good. 10 minutes later, he said it was gone. I tried to smell it on him and I could not pick it up. So it could just be different people's skin. It lasts about 2 hours on me. Some people get a lot longer wear out of this, but it is a bright, citrusy, kind of clean island fragrance, like fresh ocean air with that bright, bright citrus at the top, nice and Buxom in this. It also has a little bit of ginger to add just a touch of zing, not too overly zingy, not too overly spicy, just enough to kind of balance that bergamot and grapefruit with that nice kind of muskin and Buxom in here. So it's very fresh, clean, energetic. It is so magical on a hot day. Like this is, honestly, it's super cheap too, inexpensive. So you know what? If you only get 2 or 3 hours wear out of it, I know it's not really the time of year for this necessarily right now, but this is you just want something to take with you, be by the pool, and you want to respray all day. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. It is unisex. I'd say it leans ever so slightly masculine, but I mean, I love it on myself. And like I said, my husband adored it, but it just didn't last on his skin. But I do think it's a nice fragrance overall. So that's it, you guys. Those are 8 newer, at least to my collection, of Middle Eastern fragrances. Most of them $50 and under, with my one exception that is the Macedon fragrances by CCC Chronicles. It is a masterpiece in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about these, if you have them, if you're thinking about picking them up. I thank you so much for watching. And as always, have fun shopping, budget shopping, and smelling fabulous. Bye.